Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we're going to take a look at the pre-orders for this week, and they are live. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe for news, reactions, reviews, painting, modeling, conversion, tutorials for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, pretty much any Games Workshop games. So, first off, we have the Battletome Nighthaunt limited edition for 90 bucks, and that comes with the tokens as well. And we have the Battletome Nighthaunt regular, again with the tokens for 55 bucks. We have the limited edition Daughters of Khaine for 90. We have the Daughters of Khaine Battletome, the regular one, for 55. And our Warscroll Cards for the Nighthaunt for $33.50. And then our Nighthaunt dice as well for $38. And if you didn't catch it in the last video that I did, we will actually have some Daughters of Khaine cards and dice coming down the line as well, but there were some slight delays on those, so for the meantime those are not available. Next we have Awlrach the Drowner, a very cool model, definitely a big fan of this guy, 50 bucks for him. We have the new Craventhrone Guard that were recently just given out in the most recent box, 45 bucks for the 5 of these, right around what we were expecting, and obviously we had our pre-order prices in advance as well, but that tells you right there just how much value was really in that box, because these guys are a quarter the price of the box just by themselves, and that box was loaded. Next we have the Ethereal Court. So this is the remake of those 3 characters we were discussing previously. So you essentially have 3 characters that were only available in like the starter sets for the last edition, and when they switched over to the new edition of Sigmar, it was obviously not the Nighthaunt anymore. It was the Stormcast and the kruleboyz. So these models have been unavailable from anything, and obviously they've been drying up the supply in the open market. So they are re-releasing these, which is pretty cool. Definitely some nice looking models and some useful characters in your games. 80 bucks for the 3 of those. So definitely cool to see them coming back. And then we have the Vanguard Fyreslayers. Obviously a big disappointment as they removed the Magmadroth first, the start collecting, and then they just added in a couple more bodies. So in my opinion, not a great Vanguard set. There's some savings to be had there from retail, but you know, arguably going from retail price isn't always the best real comparison, but it's the best like numeric, like monetary comparison we have. But the truth is, you can get Fyreslayers much cheaper, just because there's so many of them floating around that you know, your regular old axe guys are just not that hard to get. They come in pretty much every set that's ever been made with Fyreslayers in it, and you know, tons of people have extras of them. So removing the Magmadroth and giving you more of just your regular dwarves is just a big mistake. So now we're seeing the Magmadroth. Recently, up until recently, the start collecting box for the dwarves was 95 bucks and included the Magmadroth. Now the start collecting goes to the Fyreslayers, so now it's $130 to get started in the dwarves, and then on top of that, the Magmadroth is $112 on his own. So before you got the Magmadroth in the starter set with a bunch of extra dwarves, now the Magmadroth is another, you know, 20 bucks more expensive than the whole box set was to begin with. So this is a massive price increase, and a terrible Vanguard box in my opinion. So I just honestly, I don't see a lot of people getting into the whole dwarves after like a basically like double just FU. Next we have the Idoneth Deepkin Vanguard. So this is the start collecting box, and then they added in one of the, what are they called, Aeroplexes or whatever, one of the bigger ones. So that's okay. You know, the start collecting box was about 100. You add in this guy, he's more than 30 bucks. So you're still saving a little money. Not the best box out there, but again, you know, everything's slowly transitioning to the Vanguards. If you haven't started picking up, or you haven't taken advantage of, you know, your last chances to pick up some of these start collecting boxes, we know they're all going away, and you know, they're slowly just kind of counting down for 40k and Sigmar. Next we have the Defense of the North, the new Middle-earth strategy book. Then we have the Easterling dice set, some cool looking dice right here. The Fortress of Dol Guldur, $315 for this. This is a really nice terrain set. I mean, it's definitely expensive at $315, but the truth is, these are like massive sized buildings. Comes with your extra little like trees, multi levels. Like most of these are 2. Here, we can actually take a closer look. Most of these are at least 2, and then some of them are 3 stories high. So like here you have obviously your ground level, your first level, and then your second level. Most of them are only, you know, just the one level above ground. But there are like some platforms on some of these other ones as well. So like here, you can't necessarily get up on like that third level. Okay, so I think it's just the one building is like a little taller. So you basically have like one building with a really big footprint, and then you have two other really large buildings, and then two kind of like medium-sized buildings, and then like just some random stuff right here. But when we actually look at the breakdown, I mean, this is a lot of terrain, and it's definitely big. When we look at the actual breakdown of the terrain itself and the amount of detail in it and everything, how it's assembled, this is some really nice looking stuff. I definitely really like it. The amount of detail with like the roots and like the metal reinforcement bits on here, and then like the cool little like statue and everything. This is just a really, really nice terrain set. You know, and obviously these can be like assembled into like the pillars. You got like trees that could basically be built into it as well. Little gates, skeletons. I mean, just the amount of detail on the set is just really nice. And then the actual breakdown of how it comes is going to come in, it looks like 2 total sprues right here basically. So you see you have a bunch of like your regular pillars, like the round pillars, some of those statues basically, some broken ones, little like skeleton piles. Here's like your roots that you can attach to the buildings, the stairs. Here's a little gateway. I mean, this is a really nice set. Tons and tons of detail. And then when we look at the other sprue as well, this one has like your platforms and everything. Again, a bunch more walls. But we know with sets like this, similar to like our 40k sets, that when it's built like this, there's basically unlimited configurations. I mean, you could build one giant building if you wanted, or like this where you have a bunch of cool buildings that all go together, which is obviously ideal. But just kind of scrolling down here, we just wanted to see if it says exactly how many. 816 plastic components. But it doesn't say how many actual sprues come in the set. And there's no way I can like judge this. I mean, you can go by some basic stuff. Like there's like 3 stairways. You know, we see a couple different like of the trees. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4 trees, 5 trees right here. So, you know, we could probably kind of look at some of these and figure it out and get a rough idea. But to tell you the truth, there's just so much going on here. And after having never like actually touched this terrain, it's tough to judge. But very, very nice terrain set. You know, $3.15 is obviously expensive for one single box of anything. But, you know, this looks to me like the better part of a table worth of terrain. If not enough for like a full table, depending on how you position it or how heavy you want the terrain to be. So that is a really nice set. So next we have a bunch of Lord of the Rings models. These are all the available to order. I'm not sure if this stuff's going to be like temporary. Okay, that's special order. So I think these were available in smaller kits previously, and then they put it all together in one big one. Not sure about these guys, if they're actually like new or if they're just kind of bringing them back temporarily. But we've got a ton of stuff right here. So if you are into Lord of the Rings, definitely this is a big one for you. Like this, I feel like this dragon was old. I've definitely seen that before. So maybe some of this stuff is just coming back and some is brand new. Next we have the Vincula Insurgency hardback. And then we have the New White Dwarf 476, $11 for that bad boy. We have Hellwinter Gate paperback for $16. We see the Ashwace Nomads cards and the Awlrach Vehicle Gang cards coming out as well, $16.50 each. I know some people had talked about they weren't available in their country at the time, but they should all be available now. So that shouldn't be any kind of issue or anything like that. Next we have the Chronicles of Malice Darkblade. So now we're getting into last week's pre-orders basically. So these are all available as of this week to buy. So we see a couple more of the books, the Triumph of St. Catherine, and then we have all of our Knight stuff. So we have the Imperial Knight Stata cards and Imperial Knight Codex, the Warzone Knockmoon Rift War book as well. And then we see, if you didn't catch it in the last video, I think there was some confusion from people. But basically the big update to the Knight kits that it currently existed, they did go up $5 each. So they were $80 for each of the Helvrins or Warglaves before. But now when you buy this kit, you get all of the bits to build either of these Knights. So when we look at the actual pictures, they're not currently like up to date. I guess they didn't like fix the pictures correctly. But when we look at the actual description, it specifically says down here, this multi-part plastic kit builds 2 Armiger class knights, either Armiger Warglaves or Armiger Helvrins. Armiger Helvrins are close range Lords of War choice. They can so anyway, you know all that. But basically what it is now, when we look at the actual like knights, you're going to get your gun sprue like this, which was normally for the Helvrins. You're going to get another sprue that has all of your like melta and chain style weapons on it. And then you have one sprue, which is your body and legs and arms. And then you have one, which is like your rest of your legs and like the lower torso bits. So when it's all said and done, each knight will now have 4 total sprues that you can use to assemble them. So you'll have the leg sprue right here, the main body sprue right here, and then you'll see the gun sprue right here. And that will include some style shoulder pads on that one. And then the other one is going to be the chain weapons and melta style weapons, and that will have a slightly different style shoulder pad as well. So you're going to end up with quite a few extra weapons and extra like armor bits as well for them. So that will be cool for conversions. Also, if you're going to magnetize your knights, it's super easy to basically just insert magnets where the guns go or where the like chain weapon goes, and basically just swap between them. So that is very cool. Definitely an upgrade. And for the extra $5 to get both those sprues, that is awesome in my opinion. Very, very cool. Definitely better than just a price increase. And if you're going to increase the prices, give us more, and I'm definitely not going to be one to complain about it. So that is huge. That is very cool for Armigers and Helvrins. I'm sorry, Warglaves and Helvrins. And then next we have the Warzone Nockmoon Rip War Collector's Edition. So that's a $90 special edition book. And then we have our Ruined Father on Magmadroth, Ruined Smiter, and then there's a Ruined Son also. You basically get 3 characters with the Magmadroth kit, and then whichever one you put on top of here, the other 2 can be mounted on foot. So you essentially get, it's pretty cool, like 3 characters out of the actual Magmadroth kit. And then next we have the Tyrants. So the Knight Tyrant is just the Chaos version. And then the Valiant and the Castellan are the 2 versions that you can build for, Loyalist. But when we look at the actual kit itself, let's just click on, say, the Tyrant, for instance. We'll see these stayed at 170. So they did not go up again in price with the Armigers recently. But we'll see the last sentence right here. This kit can also be assembled as Knight Valiant or Knight Castellan for Imperial Knights. So we see basically there's no differentiation between the Knight Tyrant, the Knight Castellan, and the Knight Valiant. All of them can build all 3. So again, it's the same type scenario. You're going to get your main body and arm sprue right here. And then you're going to get your second body and weapon. Did they actually change the sprues? Interesting. So, no, this is the 2 weapons for that knight. One is the conflagration cannon, and the other one is the harpoon. Right? Is that what we're looking at? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's these 2 weapons. Okay. So this is just not showing enough of the stuff here. So this is one of your main sprues. There's another main sprue kit that has the stuff for the Valiant on it, we see right here. And then there's another main sprue kit that's not shown that will have all of the stuff for the other one. Let's look at one of the other ones and see if they show all the pictures. So, but we know it will come with all those sprues. Obviously, they didn't put a ton of work into the pictures on these, because I would think you would show them all to avoid any kind of confusion. But they just put up generic pictures. So this is the Knight Castellan, and it doesn't even show the weapons that would come with the Knight Castellan. Yeah, okay. So that's exactly what they did. They basically just put up some generic pictures. So in the box set, you get 2 of this sprue. This has like the feet and part of the torso and like 1 arm on each, etc. So you get 2 of this sprue right here, and that gives you the majority of your actual knight. And then you'll get 1 of this sprue right here, which will have the 2 different weapons to build the Valiant. And then you'll get a similar sprue like this as well, but it'll have the 2 different weapons to build your Castellan, which is the plasma cannon and the volcano cannon. May not say the right words on some of these things, but you know what I mean. So very cool. Definitely think that is a huge step. And then we know obviously that they've done the same thing with the regular Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights. Basically any variant that you can build from that chassis, it now comes with all the bits to build it. So there's going to be a ton of extra knight bits floating around, tons and tons of magnetization taking place, because now you don't have to buy 2 different kits. You basically just magnetize your 2 weapons, and otherwise the kit is almost exactly the same. So very, very nice. And then again, we see the same thing with the Chaos Knights as well, and with the traditional Knights. So we did see the Chaos Knight Army Box sell out as expected. And then obviously we see the Imperial Knights Collector's Edition sold out. And of course, as warned, the Karn Eater of Worlds Special Edition. Only 1,500 signed copies available. I'm sure that is probably a pretty cool book. But yeah, some really nice stuff this week. Obviously big for Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge fan of this terrain right here. That is some really, really nice terrain. Probably going to step up the game real big for Lord of the Rings players, as some will be picking that up, and that is really, really nice. Super detailed. We see 2 new Vanguard boxes, some of our recently released models, and then obviously new character. And then it's cool, we're getting some books. We'll keep our eye out for the Nighthaunt. For the Daughters of Khaine cards and dice to come out sometime in the near future. We obviously still have a couple of Battletomes that we don't know what they're going to be yet. We saw the preview of one of them coming at the end of the year. So we'll see what the next 4 are, and we'll keep you up to speed as we find out. But that is it for our look today. If you did enjoy today's video, if you're into the reactions, reviews, news, all that good kind of stuff, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Horus Heresy, pretty much any kind of Games Workshop content. That's it for today. Appreciate all the likes, subscribes, and comments. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.